Question number 4 says, I'm struggling with fasting, help. Okay, let me give you a few quick things there. Number 1, the first epistle of Peter's writing about Christians suffering persecution. Now again, he's talking about people being fed to the lions in Rome, not about people denying themselves a cinnamon bun in the morning. Okay, so let's put all this in perspective. But Peter gives an interesting principle. He says, arm yourself with the thought of suffering. Let me say that again, arm yourself. So in a way, Peter's saying, like, as you go through life, don't be surprised when you suffer. You should be ready. You should go into that thinking, okay, I'm going to suffer a little bit or maybe a lot in this situation. So if you're beginning fasting, if you come into it thinking, I'm just going to float on a cloud with the angels, you might be surprised. It's okay. If you're going to fast for a day, I've been fasting now for about 40 hours. I began that thinking, okay, I'm going to have a, not the most perfectly enjoyable day. I will sometimes fast on a really busy day. Like for me, Sunday, I usually get not 1 minute of rest and relaxation. I'm usually traveling, preaching, talking to people, organizing. I'm responsible. I'm spinning plates. I'm doing worship. I'm organizing. Everybody wants to get me in. Like for me, Sunday, boom, it's the easiest day in the week to fast because I'm so busy I don't even think about it. So if you're struggling, don't be surprised. But can I say that many things in life are a slight struggle? It's a struggle to exercise at times, but keep doing it and it will get easier and you'll be glad you did it. So don't be surprised if you struggle. Again, let me give you some practical things here, and I'm not a doctor, but I would really encourage you, if you're fasting food, to drink a lot of water. Again, things like black coffee, tea, black tea or herbal tea, things like that. I would be careful not to add calories and milk, cream, whatever in those things, but drink a lot of water. It's a really great thing that will help you. If you find yourself hungry, I'm talking about physically hungry, I would sprinkle a little bit of salt, get a good salt, like a Redmond salt, a Himalayan salt, and add that to your water. A few pinches of salt, kind of tastes nice. And what's often happening when you're feeling a headache or you're feeling really miserable when you fast is actually all about electrolytes. Your body is eating away at those things. So add some salt. Keep drinking, drink enough water that you need to use the bathroom at least once an hour. That's actually a good indicator, and that will flush things through your system. Again, I said this in an earlier answer, but most of our struggles, and this is really worth thinking about, meditating about, and learning about yourself. Most of our struggles when we fast are not physical. The mental, emotional, the cravings. Cravings are mental, hunger is physical. The great thing to do when you're fasting, I will actually usually set my Apple Watch here to buzz silently about every 20 minutes. And if I'm fasting, what I'll often do is, I call it my MRI. It's like in my own mind, I just go through my body and I actually think, how am I really feeling? And I may not be feeling on top of the world, but I'm usually actually feeling pretty good. I mean, even if my stomach is a little hungry, it's actually not so hard to do. It's not the end of the world. And if I'll actually feel, oh, this is how I'm actually feeling, I go, yeah, we can do this. I can cope with this. I can do another 20 minutes of this. And again, for me, every 20 minutes, if I'm fasting for a day, I'll often just make that declaration. I am not going to eat until such a time tomorrow by God's help. Now, what the struggle most of us have is we get into this place where we're feeling a little hungry, feeling a little weak. We start thinking about that and we start feeling emotions or feelings about it. And we start feeling a version of, I can't do this. We start feeling, I'm so deprived, poor on me. And then we start thinking and feeling how good it would be to eat something. And thoughts will begin to come to us, I just can't help it. I just got to give in. And what we'll often do is we'll mentally talk, well, I've done 5 hours, so just doing this an hour early really isn't. I can start tomorrow. A million mental arguments, and all of this whips itself up into this storm. When you're in that storm, most of us, what we feel is like we feel we can't get out of it. We feel we can't give up. We feel this is just too hard. It's impossible. And can I say that? Listen to me. What you felt maybe half an hour earlier when you did that little MRI and said, oh, I've got this. That ain't so bad. If right now I gave you a weight, I'm going to can of seltzer water here, it's like a small weight to lift up, you'd probably go, well, that's a little bit inconvenient, but I can do that. It's not like 500 pounds. I could do this really easily. Now, what you're physically going through when you're feeling all of that storm is exactly the same. What you need to do is find a way of saying stop to all that mental thing, backing away from that. Sometimes really doing something physically, like having a shower. I suggest that tapping on the forehead thing, go for a walk. And suddenly, if you can fix your mind on something else, change the channel on your mind for about 2 or 3 minutes, you'll start feeling what your body's feeling. Give yourself the MRI again and go, oh, none of that stuff's actually real. It's all mental. Yeah, it's all whipped up in your mind. It's not real. And I think the more you practice this, the more you learn this, and the better you get at this. Hey, last thought there is, if you fail, if you're fasting and you give in, well, grace. Don't beat yourself up, but start again, have another go a few days' time. But I tell you, you really can conquer this, and it will be a blessing to you if you do. Boom. Good.